Okay, let's dive into this. Today, we're unpacking a story that is honestly just so incredibly inspiring. We're tracking the journey of a young guy named Ryan, and we're going to see exactly how he went from being a completely broke, struggling student to a wildly successful CEO. We'll look at the specific choices he made, the mentors he found, and those massive mindset shifts that actually made it all happen. So let's explore how relentless everyday discipline can literally rewrite your entire future. Right off the bat, our source material hooks us with this super profound opening thought. People often judge what they can see, not what someone is capable of becoming. And this perfectly frames our whole explainer today. We're really looking at a classic hero's journey here, where the main tension is all about a person's hidden potential versus their current visible circumstances. It's such a great reminder that what we see on the surface, that's rarely the whole story. To truly understand how Ryan ended up on top, we've got to look at where he started. Picture 18-year-old Ryan showing up to school. He's carrying this torn, super worn-out backpack, while all around him, his wealthy peers are pulling up in these flashy, expensive cars. And at one point, a classmate named Daniel loudly mocks him for it. But Ryan, he doesn't even get angry. He just quietly smiles and walks right into class. He's already refusing to let their shallow judgment define him. Now, that quiet smile is actually hiding a really intense work ethic. While all those other students go home to relax, Ryan's second shift is just beginning. Every single evening, he's out delivering newspapers, then he's washing dishes at a local cafe, and after all that, he's still staying up late into the night to study. He's fiercely dedicated to supporting his mom, Sarah, who works exhaustingly long hours as a cleaner just to keep them afloat. Because his schedule is just so grueling, his mom actually tells him he's working way too hard. And Ryan responds with this deeply emotional promise. He tells her, "One day you'll never have to work again." And guys, this is the absolute emotional core of his story. He isn't just working to get by, he is anchoring this massive, exhausting workload to a very clear, very powerful vision. He's out to change his family's reality forever. But as we all know, progress is rarely a straight line upwards. Despite all that grinding, Ryan hits a totally crushing wall. He fails a crucial scholarship exam, and he misses it by a heartbreaking margin of just 2 marks. Just 2. The exhaustion finally catches up to him, and we see him just sitting there, all alone in the rain, really mourning this lost opportunity. It's a heavy moment. And this right here is exactly where a strong support system kicks in. Enter Ryan's best friend, Jake. Jake walks up with an umbrella and just simply asks, "So are we giving up?" Ryan wipes his face, looks up and says, "No, we're just getting started." I mean, wow. Talk about absolute resilience. He absolutely refuses to let a 2-mark failure write the end of his story. True to his word, Ryan does not stop. He actually heads straight to the local library and starts devouring business books. And it's here, surrounded by books, that he catches the eye of Mr. Wilson, who's a retired businessman. Mr. Wilson sees this kid's incredible hunger for knowledge and shares this massive insight. Success doesn't belong to the smartest. It belongs to those who never stop learning. Seeing the sheer potential in Ryan, Mr. Wilson steps up to become his mentor. In this mentorship, it totally shifts Ryan's mindset. Mr. Wilson really takes Ryan under his wing. He doesn't just give him vague advice. He actively teaches him the core pillars of leadership, communication, and business fundamentals. He's basically handing Ryan the structured, practical toolkit he's eventually going to need to build his own empire. It's a real game changer. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that shortly after this, Ryan hits the ultimate career crossroad. He gets 2 very different offers. On one side, a high-paying job, which, let's be honest, he desperately needs, but it involves some pretty dishonest practices. On the other side, there's a modest, low-paying internship, but it's surrounded by good, honest people. It's the ultimate test of character. So think about it. Which path would you choose? Well, Ryan talks it over with his best friend, Jake. And Jake drops this incredibly insightful piece of advice. He says, "One gives fast money, the other gives a future." Man, hit the nail on the head, right? It was exactly what Ryan needed to hear. He goes ahead and chooses the harder, honest path. By taking the internship, he's basically building ethical capital and prioritizing his long-term integrity over a quick payday. And Ryan doesn't just casually show up to this internship, he absolutely dominates it. He takes that same dishwashing hustle and applies it directly to the corporate world. He's the first one in the door, the last one to leave, and he goes out of his way to help literally every single coworker. He uses this time to intensely, deliberately study exactly how companies grow from the inside out. Of course, when you're grinding that hard, you absolutely need a little break in the tension. Enter Jake again, who visits the office and somehow manages to cover the entire break room kitchen in a mountain of coffee foam. It's a total ridiculous disaster, but honestly, it brings this perfect, necessary burst of laughter into Ryan's super intense, focused daily grind. We all need a Jake, for sure. And this brilliantly illustrates what happens next. Years later, Ryan finally uses his savings to launch a small online business right out of his bedroom. But listen, success is not instant. He has to face the painful, quiet reality of entrepreneurship, the waiting game. For days, then weeks, then months, absolutely crickets, zero customers, until finally, that very first order pings through. Ryan carefully packs that box himself. The momentum starts to shift, and the business slowly begins to grow. But then, a massive crisis hits. A huge, established company completely steals Ryan's idea. His sales tank overnight, and his employees are in a total panic. But instead of freaking out with them, Ryan delivers a literal masterclass in leadership under fire. He rolls out 4 clear steps. Don't copy them, become better. Drastically improve our customer service, elevate the product quality, and above all else, win back the customer's trust. Standing in front of his totally terrified team, Ryan just smiles confidently and tells them, "We don't copy others, we become better." He knows that a foundation built on authentic customer trust and strictly superior quality, that's something that simply cannot be stolen, even by a competitor with a much bigger budget. And you know what? That incredible leadership pays off exponentially. Fast forward 5 years, and that little business he started in his bedroom is now Ryan Global Solutions. We're talking about a massive enterprise with hundreds of employees. He's standing outside his own corporate headquarters, recognized as a major industry leader, casually fielding questions from a crowd of news reporters. So the crucial point is right here. When one of those reporters asks for his secret to success, Ryan just smiles and says, "I wasn't born with money. I was built by discipline." And that right there cements the absolute core of our explainer today. Sustainable, real success is driven by continuous learning and ironclad character, not by the circumstances you happen to inherit. Bringing the whole story full circle, Ryan makes a triumphant return to his old high school. But he's not there to show off his wealth. Instead, he donates new computers, thousands of books, and fully funds crucial scholarships. He is actively, intentionally paving the way for kids who are standing in the exact same spot he once stood. While he's at the school, we get this amazing, emotional moment of closure. Daniel, the wealthy kid who once cruelly mocked Ryan's torn backpack, he sees all this happening and is just completely stunned. He actually steps forward and quietly apologizes to Ryan. And Ryan, he just shakes his hand and says, "The best revenge is success with kindness." Wow. As our source material wraps up, it leaves us with this powerful cascade of foundational maxims derived straight from Ryan's life. The first one is simple but huge. Education is an investment in your future. Whether it was reading those borrowed library books or absorbing every word from his mentor, Ryan's entire success rested on a bedrock of continuous self-education. Here is the second maxim. Discipline beats talent when talent refuses to work. This directly connects to how Ryan's sheer, unstoppable work ethic totally outpaced the natural privilege and ease that his peers enjoyed. It was never about being the smartest guy in the room or the richest. It was entirely about outworking everyone else, day after day. The third maxim acts as this highly actionable daily mantra. Dream big, stay humble, never give up. Think about it, from washing dishes at a corner cafe to running a massive global enterprise. Ryan kept his vision enormous, his ego totally in check, and his resilience completely unbreakable. In the final scene, Ryan is standing before hundreds of totally awestruck students. He looks out at the crowd and then down at his mother, who is smiling so proudly with tears in her eyes, and he shares this ultimate takeaway. Your background doesn't decide your future. Your choices do. It is a massive call to action for all of us to take absolute ownership of the decisions we make every single day.
And that brings us to the narrator's final thought for us today. A dream becomes reality when hard work meets patience. Think back to Ryan waiting all those months for that very first order to come in. It begs the question, what big dreams are you working toward right now? And are you actually applying the patience required to see them through? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and as always, keep learning.